Yeah, honestly, like, watching Electric Mayhem, I was like, I've been laughing out loud while, like, Les has been looking at me like, "Sorry, dude, I think Muppets are just funny."
Or just, yeah, every few minutes,
Yep.
Nick remembers again that Floyd's eyes are just cups. They don't have anything in them.
For sure, man.
Episode 433 of the TV. Nope, yep. I missed one that you guys were on. Episode 434 of the TV Dudes, recorded May 10th, 2023. Bupkis. We're back after a week off due to internet issues, and we're talking Bupkis on Peacock. We've also got thoughts on Prime Citadel, and of course, we've got Ted Lasso for dessert. But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick, and I'm ready to TV doodleize what's going on here.
Oh man, you on TV doodleize it.
I don't know what we're doing.
We've been watching Muppets Mayhem all day. We're like halfway through this series.
I'm gone for 2 weeks, and this is what happens.
Yeah, Randy, you just gotta find your flow, man.
I've been practicing my Dr. Teeth impressionate.
Last week we were off. We had internet issues. We did not get to record.
So we didn't get to record our rebuff of Miss Davis, which I can only imagine everyone screaming at us that last episode we did because how wrong we were about everything.
Honestly, that's kind of why we did it. Of like, should we watch more? It's like, honestly, I think it'll be funnier just to take it one episode.
If we watch one episode and guess.
Everyone included me, by the way, because I wasn't on that episode. And I was yelling at you guys because I had at that point watched 5 episodes of the show or 4 episodes or something. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? So the official TV Dude position on Mrs. Davis is
it's terrible.
Les hates it. Nick hates it more than Les.
Yeah.
So much more than me.
Yeah,
and I'm actually really enjoying it. But I don't want to bring my opinions to this particular knife fight. So I will talk about a little bit in TV Diaries.
Oh man, you just after the knife fight, go to the bar. Jesus will help you.
Man, I was
It's fine.
I had to calm down when I saw it in the TV, like in the TV
Nick's
content.
head cracked open.
It was in desserts, and I was like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" Oh, you think
light
it's dessert?
spraying out of his eyes and mouth like a fucking Mars Volta album cover.
It was as if someone had put anime in the desserts, and how I would have felt.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of red lines for me of like, I like a lot of stuff that most
watch
people
F1 every week for dessert.
You have watched all of the Puppet Master movies, and some about Mrs. Davis.
Well, I haven't watched the Third Reich yet, or the Littlest Reich. Sorry.
Oh, my mistake.
But
at no point do they talk to Jesus. That was definitely the red line. And that was the missing set of footprints that pissed him off, Randy.
I can
tell you exactly the moment where Nick went from this is annoying to fuck this show forever. I'll burn it now.
It's well, you know what? Let's just move on to appetizers, and I'm going to start by talking about Mrs. Davis.
Okay, yeah.
So, my impression of this show had nothing to do with what I had not heard any of y'all's opinion at all.
Yeah.
I came to it. It was a Tim Lindelof show. I wasn't super excited to watch it. Because Lindelof is hit and miss.
Yeah, man, it sounds like our exact same story, but you have a different. All right.
But the thing is, I wound up really liking Leftovers by the end.
Sure.
And especially when Leftovers went to the fucking ridiculousness, which I don't think either of y'all have seen.
I watched the first episode and I think half of the second, and it wasn't like it was bad. I was like, this is all right. I don't think
doesn't that show end up with like Justin Theroux opening doors with his dick?
So by the end.
Okay, so now you have piqued my interest. Like now I'm interested.
He's the president, and the way the president gets access to his secret bunker is by using his penis for identification.
Okay, I think I might be in again. All right.
It is bonkers at the end. And I remember thinking at the end, I was like, man, if they had made the whole show like this, it would have been nonsense and I would have loved it.
Yes. Yeah.
And Mrs. Davis is like that. So I would not recommend watching Leftovers because that is what that is what Mrs. Davis is. It is like, oh yeah, president uses his penis. That's just not like this thing is fucking. It's stupid and nuts. Like there's a commercial that was made about shoes so that the Knights Templar, who are all women, could get people to look at the Grail because the Grail needs to be looked at or it gets fussy. Like that's an actual plot point of Mrs. Davis.
See, like maybe we're not so far off as that. Those are the points I like Mrs. Davis as far as the Escala battle, the just the ridiculousness of the nuns, Templar, the bro dude underground thing, people that are fighting Mrs. Davis that seem to like they're about to promote to me bro dude energy with Riley and Jonesy at any minute.
Yeah.
But where I dropped off as the Lindelofness of the, and I understand that what I thought was interesting was not what was happening, and that's a risk you run when you run a mystery show, and I get that.
And that's the thing. You guys described a completely different show, and you were saying in that description, you were like, "And if it's not this, I'm gonna be mad." And I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's not that
so
at all." Like the show you guys thought you were getting, you're not getting.
And I was mad, and I was
like,
and I was disappointed, but that was not what made me furious.
The Jesus thing is what made him furious. Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers for Mrs. Davis episode 2. But the dude she's talking to in the bar that she's getting hitman names for rogue magicians from is Jesus.
Yes.
And we see it confirmed with the way that she prays. Like she goes there during prayer.
Yeah.
Because she's a bride of Christ.
Well,
she's literally married to Jesus.
So so and then the God is the person behind the window. I thought it'd be dumb if the person behind the door was Mrs. Davis, but it's actually dumber than that. It's actually God. So
the thing that God takes direct action about on the world is shitty magicians.
Yeah. So
did you guys know
and stupid?
Did you guys know that Lindelof had a thing about religion versus science? I don't think it's ever come up.
Yes.
Oh man,
yes, he absolutely finds that more interesting than me.
He finds that so but here's my problem, Randy. So the bar is heaven. The guy at the bar is Jesus, the guy behind the door is God. Who's the bartender?
I don't think it's a bar, it's just a place. It's just like a kitchen.
But who's the other person?
She gives the name to the bartender because Jesus isn't there. She leaves a message for Jesus.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Look, dude, the first episode of this has people play acting German while they chase around nuns and destroy their strawberry jam crop because that's how Mrs. Davis wants her to.
That's not violating.
You're expecting this thing to make. You're expecting this thing to make way more sense.
That doesn't violate story concepts though, because now we have to pretend that the guy in the bar didn't happen because it's the same problem I have with Jupiter Ascending when the guy pretended in the other guy's mind, and it was like, oh, that's just for the audience, and it's cheap.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy.
This is one of those things where you guys are seeing a show that I'm not seeing. Like something hit you in a bad way that it didn't hit me. And we've got this. This is how I felt about whatever that dumb Rob Lowe show was, where I was like, "Fuck this show forever." And
for me, it's not. It's like there's like a half dozen interesting plot lines happening on this show, and I get the sense
they're not from what David Lindelof is
from every
in
single previous Lindelof show that there's no interest in any of them. Like we're not going to wrap up any, like there's nothing cool I find happening on this show that we're going to land.
No,
we're just going to add 3 more.
I'm not going to recommend you guys watch this. You clearly are not going to like it, but I'm 6 episodes in and this is more coherent than any Lindelof show I've ever watched.
That's like, just not true.
He is paying off everything way more than he did with Lost. He is paying stuff off. Like
I guess that's not hard to do.
That opening thing with the nuns and all that shit turns out to be a commercial. I don't know if you got to that point. It's not real. It never happened.
Oh, that was the Knights Templar thing was a commercial?
Yeah. It's a commercial for shoes.
And fuck this show.
That's why it is shot the way it is. It is a commercial for shoes.
But that means that we can't trust anything going forward because anything could be a commercial.
No, just that is a commercial.
No, but then also,
I mean, like I feel like this show's just chumping me as like an audience of like, did you think you saw a thing? You didn't.
But there is a lot of that because also remember the whole thing starts with a magician. Like he is telling you from the outset that's what this show's going to be.
Well, why does God hate magicians then?
You should recognize a force. You should like I get all that, except that this isn't a magic trick. I'm just watching a show.
I could sum up my problems with Lindelof shows, and I will now further call them Heaven's Bartender. So yeah, but that doesn't make sense with your metaphor. Yeah, but that was a completely different scene. Now we're on a new scene. Like so, all the rules I've decided before don't matter now. And if you're gonna show me the first moment of your show is a lie meant to misdirect me, go fuck yourself. I don't then I don't care what the truth is because you have no interest in telling me it.
Oh man, when they revealed that, when they revealed the reason for it, I thought it was I thought it was clever. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying
I
the
don't know
story
what
they're
character's
telling.
real now or that I should care about or that's
Well,
They're all. I mean, they're all real. The commercial was made by
it makes
by
me
the Knights
think that they're
Templar.
gonna reveal at the end that nope, I was the
so
nun
far.
the whole time, and it was actually real. The commercial was based on a real event, and that'll make sense too because he can retcon right his way into anything. Like,
I guess you guys are seeing story logic and structure problems I'm not seeing. I've watched this all the way through, and as they keep revealing stuff, and they reveal the nature of her and Wiley and why they have why they are basically chosen to do this, and they are getting more of her mother and her father and all this stuff. I like all these characters. It is less sprawling than most of his stuff. It's definitely less sprawling than Lost.
Mhm.
Um, I'm finding it very enjoyable. I find the bizarreness of it very entertaining. And I feel like they're playing fair with the audience. I understand that you guys don't.
no,
But
they're not. I'm
I
telling you, they
I
are.
really don't think they're playing fair with the audience.
They are ignoring stuff rules they've set and are set up.
like, yep, that's fair. I'm I'm 6 episodes in. I'm just saying I've watched more of it and it works for me. I don't know. The details you're hung up on are not ones that
Also,
bother
the
me.
idea of if your reveal for anything is it was God or the devil, I am immediately uninterested.
Right, that's fair. I mean, and that, like I say, I would not recommend either of you watch the show again.
Did I hear
You
right in
hate
Ep
it.
3 in the Excalibur battle? Did that sword just appeared one day and now they have an every 25-year fight for it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
See? So Excalibur
How
battle
can you
doesn't
say they
matter.
play by the same rules when you don't remember the rules they set up?
I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the story as it goes along. Like the details of like who the Germans are, which is they're fucking actors.
Yeah, they're actors. They're like, yeah, they do that whole thing on the roof.
Like
They throw the
little
dude through the truck.
bits of things like that. Like the nature of the Excalibur. Like I don't care how it gets there. It's there for a set piece. It's
Yeah,
gone. It's done. I
but
don't
also that
care.
means they had to count on her getting away from them by using the again, her escape is not planned out well enough for them to have been part of the plan, unless that was a
Yeah,
whole other backup. But obviously, like the why of it all, like obviously, you're saying I'm overthinking it, and I'm like, yeah, or I'm thinking about it at all in any way. But like,
I guess I don't know. To me, it feels like y'all are overthinking it. And I guess maybe I'm just like I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the craziness of it all.
I can't enjoy a story if I don't know what's real or not. And I was like, oh, the Grail is real. We've seen the Grail is real. Now you tell me it was a commercial, and I'm like, cool, the Grail might not be real. Whatever.
Oh
Like,
no, the Grail's real.
sure, until
That's
it isn't. Until you reveal
yeah,
those people you saw that were making the commercial were also actors, and that there was a commercial inside a commercial or some other
yeah.
Inception
No,
bullshit.
you're not wrong. If they keep following, if you follow that logic too far, the whole thing falls apart. For me, they have stayed well within the bounds of a couple of reversals. I'm okay with a couple of reversals. This is similar to the issues we were talking about with Ocean's 8, why it works for me and it doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
I am okay with a couple of reversals. They already went too many reversals too far for you. They
Yeah.
could go too far for me. If we get to episode 9 or 10, I could come back on here and be like, no, you guys were right. Fuck that show. But so far they are playing fair enough for me that I'm willing to accept. Okay, yeah, they're just doing this is that's a throwaway thing. It doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Like I'm
I,
okay with that.
Keep me
I feel like
updated.
Lindelof is a guy who's made a career out of shows that are like beg to be overthought in a Chris Nolan more magical than that, but a Chris Nolan kind of way.
Sure.
And it just bugs me that like I get this I get that magic trick sense really early on from Mrs. Like you should recognize the force. Like I've watched Happy Town, like I've seen shows that are made by guys who love magicians.
Yeah.
And so like I've caught some of that and I had that moment of like, so the show's a magic trick too on the audience. And I don't know, the vibe of being I don't know, laughed or toyed with for overthinking it is it bothers the shit out of me.
I get that. I guess the thing that I don't understand. I mean, I sort of understand it. Is you guys watch the worst movies
Yeah.
And I'm sure their story logic is not that strong.
And I told Les this, and this is how I explain it, is that I'll watch a half thought out good idea rather than a fully thought out bad one.
Okay, that makes sense.
The thing with Lindelof and religion, I don't care, Lindelof. Everyone got over this
I
in
don't care.
college.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
That does bother the crowd. Well, because we're not going to pay attention to any of the actual plot storylines that I think are cool. Like, what the fuck is up with that sword? What is up with the gray? Like, instead, we're going to pay attention to this bigger god science thing.
If AI that runs everything, what it would be afraid of is actual magic. Like actual magic. That's good. That's a great storyline.
See, I think that's where the disconnect is. Y'all are interested in a different story than the one he's telling.
Yes.
And that's fair.
No matter what he puts on screen, I know at its heart the story he cares about is not the one I care about.
Right. You guys are seeing a show that could exist, and Lindelof's show is basically this show that does exist instead.
And it starts to bother me as like another episode happens and like another giant cool you get into this episode and out of nowhere there's Excalibur and you're like, holy fuck. Oh wait, that's right. We're not going to do anything with that long term because that's really not germane to the real show.
You're interested in the stuff that Lindelof is not, that for him is just
the
like
window
dressing. It's set dressing.
Yes. Yes.
You guys are like, and wait, why did we leave that set?
I've now seen him pull this football 3 or 4 times now, and like I know. So when I sat down to Miss Davis and was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know how this game works."
No, I get that. I wanted to give another perspective.
Versus shitty movies, this bothers me so much more because it's actually like could be good.
There's so much money
there's
thrown
so
at
much
it.
good happening.
There's so many good so many good people like
shit. There's a lot of good ideas in it. I know where it's going is not going to be where I want to go. Like they keep discarding things where I'm like, but no. Shit.
Yeah, and I have definitely experienced that with shows before. I've definitely experienced shows where you guys are telling the story.
I just don't like Lindelof's style.
Yeah,
Quentin
I think that's
Tarantino
true.
could make a movie that, like subject matter wise, is aimed straight at me right now, and the man just annoys the shit out of me.
Well, that's why I don't like Lord of the Rings. Immediately I don't like that show. They gloss over and then there was the war, and then it's over. Yeah. Like they gloss over the immediate. Like, well, that's the story I wanted to hear, though. Well, fuck this other story. I guess.
I get that. I just, for me, Mrs. Davis is telling a story. I'm actually interested. I'm interested in the way they're doing it. I find the holy shit throwing just weird concepts every episode. I'm like, well, that's bonkers. And by the way, we'll get back to this, but I thought Mrs. Davis was bonkers, and then I watched Bupkis. And I was like, no, Mrs. Davis is positively restrained.
Well, keep us posted. If Mrs. Davis sticks some kind of fucking crazy landing, I may wait until I'm in a different headspace and try it again.
I'll keep watching. I think there's no way it's going to be
pull off a final twist that it won't land, but that's just my theory.
I do think it's more like the only thing that makes me think I will probably like it all the way through is because of Leftovers that I wound up liking all the way that by the end. But even Leftovers, I've never gone back to rewatch it. Like I didn't find it so compelling. I just I guess I like the way Damon Lindelof tells stories. I like the stuff he's interested in, but I don't always like the way he's interested in. Like I don't like his movies. Like I cannot stand what's the alien one he did, the prologue, Prometheus. I fucking hated Prometheus. And Tomorrowland with Brad Bird that he wrote, I think is pretty bad. Did he do
Prometheus or did he do Covenant?
He did Prometheus.
Oh man, that's even worse. Shit.
Yeah, he wrote that one. Yeah, so I am not unfamiliar with coming into Lindelof and going, you know what? I don't think I'm interested in what you're doing.
He would write the story where the map makers got lost.
Yeah. So I totally get it, but for whatever reason, Mrs. Davis is clicking for me. I don't know with the writer strike coming up and all that. I don't know how this show survives that.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a show that's going to benefit from time off.
No.
Like it needed to get in and get out and do its thing. So I think it's probably going to be a casualty of the writer strike, but we'll see. I'll keep watching it. I'll probably mention it in the latest episodes, but I decided long before I got to this episode to record with you guys that we don't need to talk about Mrs. Davis because you guys hate it on a level that I don't like it. Like I like it fine. I like it quite a bit. I don't like it as much as you guys hate it.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Among my other stuff that I watched, I am almost through Deep Space Nine season 6. I have seen In the Pale Moonlight, which is regarded as one of the best episodes, and it is in fact a great fucking episode. It is, and I mean this is the highest compliment. It feels more Babylon 5 to me. It's got a little more darkness. It's got a little bit more character stuff. And I've also at the point of Deep Space Nine is better than Babylon 5 overall now. I will say that.
Oh, okay.
But I was a Babylon 5 fan first, and so I kind of like seeing a little bit of that
I was gonna say
political
that's a big deal
intrigue
for you to
stuff.
say.
Yeah, and they're doing some. Season 6 is fantastic. There's really not been any bad episodes that I've seen. Every one of them is pretty good to great. I've watched about half of it now, the second half, and I'm just about to make my way to season 7, which will be the final season. I'm really enjoying watching Deep Space Nine. I understand now why everybody says it's the best Trek. I think it is probably my favorite Trek. It has surpassed Strange New Worlds.
Really?
Yeah, it is fantastic. Strange New Worlds. If Strange New Worlds goes 6 or 7 seasons and sticks their landing,
Sure. Oh,
it
yeah.
will be it will be better than Deep Space Nine.
Sure.
But
I
comparing the
guess.
1 season we have to 6 seasons of pretty great shows, I'm like, man, Deep Space Nine was doing it with 26 episodes at a go.
Yeah.
That's a higher difficulty, and it is really really good. The shame about Deep Space Nine is a lot of it, like they could have kept going with that, but when they did Voyager, they decided to go back to the old school Next Generation stuff a little bit more, and they took everything that was Deep Space Nine and took it over to Battlestar Galactica. And it's kind of a shame to think about an alternate timeline where, oh, what if Star Trek had kept on this path and been
Should
good
I
this
watch
this
Deep
good?
Space Nine? I stopped watching after Next Gen, but
I would recommend Deep Space Nine. I
Yeah,
think
it's really good.
okay.
it's really good. Yeah.
I haven't seen all of it, but every episode I've seen of Deep Space is pretty good.
I finished up season 2 of The Grand Crew, which again, with the writer strike and with it being a bit of a bubble show, I would not be surprised to never see that show again. But it was a fun season 2. It wasn't as good as season 1, but they gave every character like a little bit of an arc. They gave them all. It was a comedy, but they like one of the guys lost his job and decided to go to Amsterdam or something, and one of the other guys goes with him. They leave off with them like going off to explore a little bit and take a break from their jobs and find themselves. And one of the other people starting to figure out something about their life and find a new job. And so it's kind of cool to see the characters, like if that was the ending, they gave them a solid ending, which I don't always get from comedies. And I thought that was pretty good. Keeping up with Top Chef, which continues to be really good. The International Top Chef is really fun. Watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I don't remember if you guys have seen or are keeping up with that at all.
No, I think I'm a season behind.
Yeah, not the latest season.
So I don't want to spoil too much, but the thing I'm liking in this final season is that they are doing flash forwards to,
That
I
you
guess, like the
you were
90s or
saying
modern
that, yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. To like Maisel and Susie clearly had a big falling out. She's become this legendary comedian, like a Joan Rivers or a Lucille Ball or something like that.
Okay.
And so they're showing like that she succeeded beyond her wildest dreams, that she had a talk show, that she is like beloved and a name, like a name people know. And Susie became like a super agent. And so this latest episode is all in the sort of 90s, I think. It's modern-ish.
Sure.
It is a roast for Susie with all her with all the showbiz pals, and she's an older lady now, and no one's allowed to mention Mrs. Maisel because they had a big falling out.
Oh.
And it is basically them telling stories about Susie's career. So you get to see flashes of this is how Susie became the super agent. This is all her like there's a Triple Crown story where she goes to a golf course and makes 3 big deals of the day, including like getting East of Eden made or something like that. It's a really fun like inside baseball bit of like Hollywood stuff, and it's a lot of fun,
Oh,
and it
cool.
comes with a really solid like personal thing with her and Maisel too. And I thought they've done a really good job of like explaining why their fallout happens, paying it off. And I'm gonna be sad to see this one go, but they're I think hitting all their marks on their final season.
Nice.
And seeing a little bit of her like their adult children and how that affected how her life affected them and all that, really fun. Um, I watched Ghosts, which I think we're almost at the end of season 2, but that's been great.
Yeah, I have
Um,
no idea how many episodes are going to be in Ghost at this point. I'm one behind, I think, but they just keep every time a new one drops, I'm like, "Oh, happy day!" It like it's just another gem out of nowhere. Like, oh, thank you. I had no idea we. Is it still Christmas?
Yep, yep.
How long
I
will the
watched
oil burn in this Hanukkah lamp?
I watched a couple episodes of Dead Ringers, the Rachel Weisz remake of the Cronenberg thing. Is it Cronenberg? I think did Dead Ringers, or was it Peter Jackson? I think it's Cronenberg.
Cronenberg.
But so in this, it's a gender flip thing. They are twin gynecologists who are trying to create some kind of new birthing center. It's 2 episodes in. Rachel Weisz is fantastic playing against herself. It is the most boring piece of shit I've ever seen. I was
Oh,
so
wow.
bored. And I know people are really liking it. I saw some critics liking it. I could not have been less interested. I watched 2 episodes of it. I had all of it saved on my iPad to watch on the plane on the way back. I had nothing else to do. I found something else to do. Like, it was just like I was like, "No,
God
you know
damn.
what? I'm gonna watch." I think instead I watched Confess Fletch again instead, which, by the way, better call. Confess
Right.
Fletch is a great rewatch. I also did watch it on the plane. I was in Reno. On the way out, I watched Into the Spider-Verse and Office Space again, and then on the way back, I watched Confess Fletch.
Man, I love that. That's such a hard hit. I love the idea of like, I got nothing else to do. And then like 10 minutes in, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna reevaluate the nothing to do. I'm gonna see if that's actually true or not. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find something to do.
Yeah, this paint sure
Yeah.
is drying well.
Yeah. I watched. I'm 1 episode behind, but I'm keeping up with Not Dead Yet, which continues to be really good. So it's kind of like Grand Crew or not Ghost. Ghost is better than that, but it is this is a fun show. I'm glad there's another episode of it. You know.
Yeah.
Um, I watched 2 episodes of White House Plumbers, which we are saving to talk about. Um, we want to give it a little more time before we talk about it. They're only doing 1 episode a week, but I am really enjoying.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
fun. I
Yeah, I've
agree.
only seen
And
1 episode of it so far, but it's fucking goofy and
speaking
great.
of Justin Thoreau is killing it as G. Gordon Liddy as just the biggest dumb tool on the face of the earth.
Man, if he
It's
could
great.
unlock his front door with his dick, he would.
Well, I love the like
I
the like so I gotta ask, what's with the Nazi stuff?
What's with the Hitler hard
that's
on?
what they thought, yeah. Is that Hitler?
It's what is he shouting about?
I
Oh my god, man.
I watched Taylor Tomlinson's special Look at You, which was really great. I started watching John Mulaney's Baby J, and I got about 20 minutes into it and kind of fell asleep. I'm like, I don't know if I care about your rehab, dude. I know everybody's talking about how good that special was, but I flipped over. Was like, I'd rather watch Taylor Tomlinson. I think she's a better comedian.
Oh,
Yeah, I would recommend watching if you're falling out of somebody else's, watch that Marlon Wayans special. It was pretty good.
Oh,
But
okay.
we'll talk about it on Bupkis, but I think Mulaney's bit in Bupkis is probably all I really need out of that whole story.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
fantastic.
The thing I liked about his Baby J special, he opens up and he's doing this little sing-songy thing he's doing, and he's talking about basically, we've all had a tough year, everything's been changed, and he's like basically doing a bit of like how everyone's relating to him, and he's like, we've all had trouble, we've all had we all went to rehab, we all got divorced, and now people see us differently, and they all like Bo Burnham more than you. And it was kind of funny for him to act like everyone had just gone through that exact
yeah.
experience.
We,
Like
we
that
all get
that
that
was
when everyone
we've all been there, right?
Everybody had that year.
Everybody had that year.
When suddenly
So
Bo Burnham
yeah.
stole all our starlight.
that was funny. But what's funny is it also reminds me of how Louis C.K. used to be. And I
Oh,
used to think Louis C.K. was doing a bit,
and it's
and
not.
then Louis C.K. stuff got really less funny when I realized, oh, you're just a shit. And I'm thinking that John Mulaney may be the same thing, like all the stuff we thought was a bit where he's talking about, oh no, I'm not a good person. I'm like, you actually
Oh
aren't.
god, you're actually an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely took the shine off it for me. Whereas Taylor Tomlinson, she's an adorable woman is fully fucked up on mental illness and trauma, and she just owns that. And I'm like, yeah, I believe this is you and not a persona you have constructed.
Yeah, I don't think
But anyway,
comedy
yeah,
seems to be a great place for actual secure
no,
people securing
nope,
themselves and
no,
with
it does
healthy
not.
coping
Um,
habits.
No,
um,
nobody else's workplace has a 2-drink minimum.
Yeah, because your work isn't rad.
I rewatched all of Guardians of the Galaxy, including 3, which I saw in the theater, which we're going to talk about for
Sure.
Patreon.
God, I really like the holiday special. I think the holiday special might be my favorite one.
It's fantastic. It's really good. I watched Citadel, which we'll talk about. I watched all the Bupkis, which we'll talk about. I saw Evil Dead Rise, which I really loved. I was glad to see that. And the other thing, which I wish you guys were keeping up on, because this would absolutely be dessert every week, is Barry. Barry season 4, the final season of Barry, is fucking great, and they keep throwing curveballs in the last 10 minutes of every
Randy,
episode.
I was 5 minutes into Barry last week,
Yep.
and it was
Yep.
Wednesday
Yes.
morning, and the fucking internet cut out. And I was like, God damn it.
Nick literally
universe...
like turned around from our conversation, was like, all right, I'm trying to finish up or catch up on
Yeah, I'm
Barry.
trying to catch up
Walked
on
into his
Barry.
room and
Yeah.
then like, hey man, do you have internet? Nope.
They are like every episode has been great, and it seems like about the last 10 minutes of every episode they throw something in a curveball where you're like, holy shit, what the fuck?
No,
Like
Barry's
it's funny, but it's also gotten very dark and very real, and it is absolutely one of the best shows on television.
We are weeks, maybe months, maybe 2 months away from just the sweet spot of me starting to watch Barry and blaming you both.
Yeah.
Well, with the writer strike, we're all going to have a lot to watch. We're all going to have a lot of time to catch up on stuff
Oh
pretty
yes.
soon.
Yeah,
Like
this game never
there's
ends.
the tube of content is still flowing, but you can tell the backstop is coming. Like
Randy,
there's like 3 or 4 things that have already been delayed.
What's putting it down the trough is gravity at this point. Like
4 years from now, Randy, when I get super mad at you for not telling me about Mrs. Davis, will be my crowning achievement.
That will be, yes, that'll be the end of the show. We will just end the show right then that day. Yeah, that's it.
It's actually difficult to drop one of these mics. They're on a little tripod.
No, my crowning achievement will be when you get to the end of Mrs. Davis and you realize that actually the whole time they've been swords.
That's what.
Damn it! God damn it,
yes,
Nick!
Randy. That's what we decided at the end of Ep 3. That like, well, so how mad is Randy going to be when it turns out that this is just Magic Swords?
Yeah, it's the live action of Magic Swords. God damn it!
All right, that was my extensive like 2.5 weeks of TV diaries.
Yeah. We'll
what about y'all?
Quick run through what me and Les watched together.
So let's see. Because we didn't have internet for a few days, thankfully, I have a bunch of weird physical media. So, well, we also went and saw They Live in the theater, which Nick had never seen straight through, not as a South Park gag or a video game recreation. And so he got to experience They Live, which is an experience.
You'd never seen They Live?
I had never. I had watched up until the fist fight and the ending, and not.
Oh, okay.
It was a movie that, when your dad like would be on the channel and you'd have to watch whatever he was watching. My dad would flip between movies, and They Live would never be. It would be interesting enough that he'd watch some of it, but never interesting enough he would stay on the channel. So he'd flip to something else every time. Like he'd watch They Live in between the commercials of what he actually wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, so Nick got to experience the absolutely slow, bizarre, God, what a weird movie.
Oh yeah.
And that fist fight is just insane. I mean, Keith David's really not in it till like the third act.
Well, that's what happens when you get a wrestler as your lead.
Yep.
Oh man, you're here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and he's all out of bubblegum. And Roddy Piper just says random shit. I mean, he literally just brought a little like notebook to the set of unused wrestling lines and just tried 5 of them each take, and they just did whatever.
Yep.
Like use whichever one. So sometimes he just says some shit that like it's non sequitur. It has nothing to do with the scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he says it in that, like he delivers it in his Roddy Piper mania, which we saw it at Alamo, and so they ran Roddy Piper footage beforehand. I forgot how much more nuts. I'm really only used to him in that movie.
He's toned down in that movie.
He's so much more nuts in his actual wrestling persona, like so much more cranked up. So anyway, we saw They Live.
Yeah.
And then we also watched Great White, which is actually pretty good shark movie. Not like Ouija shark type shit. Like it's closer to
Crawl or one of the
Crawl
or
or something like that,
or one of the better creature features.
Like a better creature feature. It was actually pretty good. Watched Quigley Down Under.
First time for
Nick
me.
had never seen. We watched Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, the remake of Yojimbo. Watched Scream 4 and Scream 6. We tried to watch Scream 3. I think it took 2 tries.
Yeah, we ended up finishing it. Man, we
finished it.
That movie's not good.
Oh, it's rough. It's rough. Scream 4 is such a like whiplash up in quality.
Oh yeah,
it's great. Watch Trading Places because I have it on DVD because they will not be streaming that. You want to see Dan Aykroyd in blackface? Good luck.
Oh man, yep.
And Don Amici dropped the N-word. It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Right, it's a lot.
I watched Back to School, which felt like a woke masterpiece by comparison. We watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original movie because I got it on VHS.
Hell yeah.
We didn't put this on the thing from weeks ago, but we watched Digman episode 1.
Yes.
Which is hard to watch on streaming because fucking
Sci-fi
or Adult
or
Swim.
no, Comedy Central. Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
But that's Andy Samberg's new thing.
And
it
it's
was
just him
really
doing his Nicolas Cage impression the entire fucking time.
Yeah. But it works. It was fun.
Indiana Jones National Treasure riff, and it's pretty good.
I watched Bring It On, which is still Bring It On. I also watched Night Shift, which is Michael Keaton's first movie.
Yeah, Bring It On rules.
Yep. Yeah, I love Bring It On. So I watched Bring It On. I forgot how weirdly structured that movie is. Several different movies all at once.
Yes.
Night Shift is Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton running a morgue, running a prostitution ring out of a morgue, I should say.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
okay. I missed that. I did not watch that one. I definitely would have remembered that.
No, you didn't. I watched that. We watched Dragon Slayer, which I had not seen since I was a kid, and Nick had never seen.
Yeah.
Damn, that dragon looks good. I forgot how fucking badass that puppet is. That movie is slow and weird and not great.
But, yeah, because they don't have the money to show that dragon the entire time, so they gotta
But that dragon's badass, man.
It's like we only got 10 minutes of dragon, and we gotta throw like 80 more minutes into this.
Yeah.
Well, let's throw in a love story, and then man, Les said a line that I'm gonna remember for a while now of when the what's the name of the main actor playing the apprentice gets together with our love interest princess.
Yeah, it's the same guy that frees Vigo from the painting in Ghostbusters 2.
Princess and the Prince, and Les goes like trying to find something in common of like why he would the romance is believable, and he goes, yeah, I guess they're two humans. I just
it is seriously, it is the least chemistry anybody has had on screen. Like, I guess they're both people. I mean, it's not like
Les was like,
not wrong.
They're not
in any
violating.
Way.
Okay, they're not violating the laws, I guess. Like, it's not
right.
What they're doing
legal.
is not illegal or against God. Like,
it's like the best I can say is that looked consensual. Then we watched a couple episodes of Biker Mice from Mars, which is fantastic and terrible, and damn, it's awesome. I love it.
Man, they are so condescending to their April O'Neil.
Oh man, they're April O'Neil ripoff. Yeah, they really are misogynistic pricks.
They're like 50s, like Mr. Fantastic to like, oh, you pretty woman, Sue, whatever.
Yeah, Mars is not very progressive, and at least it's mice society. I don't know about the other things from Mars. Watched episode 1 of White House Plumbers. I watched Infinity Pool, which was both not as insane and gruesome as I had been led to believe it was, and yet also overkill. Like, Brandon Cronenberg, dial it the fuck back. Like, you almost had a thing that you were saying here, and then it just went, I don't know, 8 or 9 punches further into a dude's face than you needed to go. It is a sci-fi story about a country where if you pay a fine, you can have yourself cloned and they'll murder the clone, because almost every crime there is punishable by death. And the government's pretty good at recognizing who can pay. So, ergo, there is a tourism society of rich fuckwads who go to this country and do dumb shit because the cloning process is kind of existentially weird, and they just like go on vacation, do a bunch of crazy vacation shit, murder your vacation self, and go home because you have to watch the state execution of it. And that's nuts, and that's a fucking crazy plot for a sci-fi movie and stuff. And it's Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård, and Mia Goth, and it's not bad. It's
I like the premise of cloning as a workaround for capital punishment.
Yeah, and it's with your full memories. The clone is not a shell. That's part, and the government guy is really
like,
no,
you have to know why you're being executed.
A huge part of it. And so there's always like they play with it a little bit. There's the mix up moment of like you went through the cloning process and then you're being helped into the viewing room, but the other you thinks that you're the one not going to get killed.
Man, there's definitely a message in there
like
about
you both think you're the one that's not going to get killed.
A society that prides punishment over actual justice, because there is no that is just, oh well, someone got punished for it, like you got punished for it, but really that person is still walking around like a justice furnace. Yeah, I like that.
So spoilers for Infinity War. Spoilers for Infinity Pool. Skarsgård hits a farmer rather, like a parent like hits a local farmer with a car, and the dude dies. It's really not his fault. Like the car's fucked up. Like it's really not his fault, but he kills the dude in an accident, and it's capital punishment. And the way this country does the capital punishment is that the deceased's eldest son gets to kill you. And if there's not an eldest son, then the state will take over in their stead. But luckily, their farmer had a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old.
Oh my god.
And that kid kills Skarsgård.
God.
And then later on, because Skarsgård's still alive, because it's a fucking clone, that kid finds him again and kills him again. Like, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I didn't think I was a murderer, but now that I killed you, I got a taste for it.
Oh man, the look on that kid's face is very much like, you're the one dude on the planet I can kill. Fuck yeah. It's a movie I'm still thinking about that I will never see again. Kind of puts it in a Requiem for a Dream area. Not quite that harrowing. I don't know. And for all of that, I thought it was going to be somehow crazier. I can't explain how it's both like hyper gory, like gorier than I needed anything to ever be, and also kind of tame, given how weird the thing is. Anyway, Infinity Pool. Watched the Goldberg series finale, which was a series finale of a 10-season show, and yeah, it was cute. If you haven't watched Goldbergs, none of the callbacks would have meant anything. If you have watched Goldbergs, you already watched the series finale. So, watched some more elementary Parks and Rec, a bunch of Bupkis, Happy Death Day, Muppets Mayhem, Soups and Lois. Watched Night Court, which I think just had its 2-part season finale last week and this week, which ended with Dan getting a judgeship back in Louisiana and having a Marshall Warfield cameo for just a moment, which, yay. Yeah, really enjoyed that cute little season. I hope they get a second.
So I didn't watch the episode, but I did see an article on it, and I read it because I saw the picture and it was like Dan was the judge, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? And I guess that was
he
thing.
took a judgeship and leaves. Like, if they don't get a season back, I mean, like, if they don't get a second season, like they've left everybody in their various places.
Wow.
But yeah, cute show, good comeback on a bringing back an old sitcom. I watched Murder Mystery 2, which I had forgotten that I had watched Murder Mystery with Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that happens in it. I remember it being cute. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't remember it. In the short time since last weekend, I had almost forgotten that I watched Murder Mystery 2. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I chuckled. It's a fun movie. If you've got a couple hours you want to kill, it is a cute little, Columbo episode of it. It's not that good. It's a cute little murder mystery where they get framed as a couple again. But, man, it is somehow just fluff. I can't explain.
Why does this keep happening to us?
How does the same shit happen to the same guy twice?
Right. Like, I can't explain how it's so amusing and yet forgettable. It's a really odd phenomenon. Watch it and see if you remember what I'm talking about.
Cotton candy.
Also watched Tetris, which, holy shit, for a movie where I cannot believe how compelling a cute little movie about getting the rights to Tetris is. Like, they make good points about how Russia's never sold anything. Like, there are no we'll license it from this corporation. Like, dude, there are no corporations in Russia. That is an arm of the KGB. like, I don't care what company you think you've dealt with. That is an arm of the KGB. and like they make good points about that stuff. But at the same time, man, it's not, Tetris itself is not necessarily like the thing.
Hello, welcome to Target. May I help you incriminate yourself?
It was the last, like, I do think Tetris was one of the first, like, it's definitely the first thing sold like that, and like it was a huge tipping point at the right moment in history. But it's not like Gorbachev played Tetris and was like, you know what, we got to rethink this whole thing. It didn't quite go down like that. And yet the movie is incredibly fun and compelling with just the right amount of like video game graphic inserts. And Taron Egerton, is that the guy's name?
Yeah, from Kingsman.
Yes.
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Is really manic and charming. Holy crap, I can't believe his wife forgives him. He misses his kids school concert at one point and is justifiably panicking about a bunch of like business shit. And his wife like lays it down of like, your kid's crying in the other room, man. Shut the fuck up about licensing rights. But yeah, holy crap. It's on Apple TV. I absolutely recommend everybody watch Tetris. It's really fun. Just a reminder of like, oh yeah, movies didn't used to be all like 3-hour planet saving epics with like there
Yeah,
used to just
yeah.
be
Hey,
fun
Randy,
movies
guess what
sometimes.
Les's main problem with Guardians was?
I bet I can guess.
It was the animal torture. No, it was the length. It was the length of the fucking runtime. Yeah.
No, it's how long the
Though
animals got
I
tortured.
would have trimmed that children's movie down to a manageable length by cutting the animal torture, and I can't believe I have to say that. But we'll discuss. And that's about the end of my TV diaries.
Yeah, so the only thing I'll add to that is that we had a Groundhog Day marathon like within a couple days, but we didn't watch Groundhog Day. We watched the offshoots of Groundhog. Like we watched. We didn't. Should have watched Palm Springs.
I left Boss Level off. I did watch Boss Level.
Yeah, we watched Boss Level again, which was a fun one. We had the Happy Death Day movies, and then I watched on my own Edge of Tomorrow, which is a real fun one that everyone slept on because honestly because the marketing was terrible on that movie. I think. Like,
yeah, that marketing was so weird.
But. And then, I watched an episode of Ranger that had a vampire in it, but the vampire is made up entirely of eyes. I don't understand how that
was
worked.
so weird. I walked through the room for that. Yeah, that was super weird.
Trying to convince that the kids, like, man, a lot of child in danger. Like, it's very much a children's show in Japan. Like, it's like a lot of children are being in danger and driving the plot forward.
Like real children, not 90210 actors. Like
no actual young actual
kids.
Children. Yeah, not 30-year-olds playing playing teenagers. Like actual legit children. And then I watched Star Wars Visions. I started watching that. I want to say halfway through it. I liked the first season. This one is definitely less. If you were going to watch a season of Visions, this one's less anime-y. It's got more stop motion stuff, and I love that the first two shorts are Sith based this time. Like, and some of them don't have like the Wallace and Gromit guys. Artman. Ardman.
Yeah, Ardman. Yeah.
Wow, that one's so good. That one, it's so much fun. It's a race. It's like a family. Like, take your family to race day, and they live in their ship. Like everyone in Star Wars lives in their ship, but they live in a camper. Like it's really like they're flying an RV. It's really funny. One of the rich kids takes out a mini Death Star to start shooting out other parts of the other people's cars. It's real fun. Do you watch any of that, Randy, yet? Because I know you like the first season.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you have watched some Star Wars stuff before I have, but it's anime, so you've watched anime before that, and that makes sense.
Well, I liked Visions more than you, but you liked Visions too, right?
I did like Visions. I actually am looking forward to getting into it, but I've been in full on Star Trek mode instead of Star Wars right now. So I've been making my way through Deep Space Nine, but it is on my radar.
The reason I like Visions is because it actively doesn't use anything from the continuity going around right now.
No, it's basically like, hey, here's Star Wars. Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah,
it's like, here, play with the toys.
There's no Luke. There's no Skywalker thing. There's no like R2D2 and C3PO. Like, it's just basically the concept of the Force and Star Wars, and that's playing that world. And I think that's it. That's why the stories there are more interesting than Star Wars has been to me in a good decade. But yeah, that was
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Visions because it was doing its own thing, and that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to watching the Aardman one. I'm looking forward to watching all the different ones. So.
Oh yeah, there's a good stop motion one kind of in there with based on a water planet that's got a really neat art style.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then the first one is like a pastel, like the main character is a painter, and they use that as far as light side paint and dark side paint to make up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those things of where they would never do it in an actual Star Wars movie because it's too weird and out there, but it's a real neat idea.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to it. I always like the different styles and I liked a lot of the first ones, so it's definitely gonna be on my radar the next week or two.
Yeah.
All right, does that wrap us up for appetizers?
Yes.
So I should say right at the front, y'all, this is gonna be a longer episode because we just spent close to 45 minutes or a little longer on appetizers.
Well, we had
But
to
it's
go.
been a couple weeks,
It's been a couple weeks,
so
and we went off on
Yep.
Mrs. Davis. I can probably
Yeah, like some of that was a Mrs. Davis segment.
honestly, I could probably shorten it up in post too, but
Y'all, you're just gonna cut out all the Miss Davis conversation? Is that what you're saying?
oh no, that's the good stuff.
Not all of it, just your side,
I'm
Randy.
just cutting off your stuff.
Yes, it's just huh. I thought Randy was gonna give his point of view, but he said, "Yeah, let me talk about Miss Davis," and then it was
we didn't
30
hear from
minutes of
him.
rant.
Silence.
Nothing. He didn't say a word.
It's pretty weird.
Every once in a while, there's this very clipped "yep" from Randy.
You'd think he'd defend it, but
Almost sounds cut out of another sentence.
Yeah.
I also hate that show. Lindelof sucks.
balls sucks balls. Get some. Get some.
The crack of the bat, the roar of the. Les knows what I'm doing.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud inside. It stopped raining. Everybody's in the play. And don't you know, it's a beautiful new day. Hey, running down the avenue. See how the sun shines brightly in the city. On the streets where once was hidden Mr. Blue. Sky is living here today. Hey.
Just a reminder, you can support us by going to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us that $1 an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. We are putting a pin in our Leo DiCaprio marathon, which we haven't fully started yet, because we are going to be doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we may interrupt from time to time to do other movies. I don't know if you guys know,
Hell of a summer.
there's a summer movie season going on, and there's a lot of movies.
Spideyverse isn't that far away either.
Spideyverse
Nope,
is
Spideyverse, Fast X, Dial
Fast
of
X is
Destiny.
next week. Yep. A
Oh.
lot of good stuff coming up.
Oh, Randy, are you
So
are
we
you a
will
fan
be-
of the Fast and Furious movies? Are you? You've never mentioned it before.
All right.
It's the
Let's
end of the
talk-
beginning of the end, Randy.
Man,
It
the
is the end of the
beginning
beginning
of
of the end.
Randy, like if Star Trek ever crosses over with Fast and the Furious, I think will die.
Well, you know that Grant and I did a whole Patreon about Mission Impossible and Fast and the Furious, right? Like those two franchises belong together.
Holy shit,
I
that's
mean-
actually pretty. Yeah, that's not bad actually.
They do. They're the same franchise.
Actually,
in a
yeah,
lot of
have
ways.
Ethan Hunt show up and become part of the team.
Yep.
I think it'd be hilarious to just have Sam Jackson wander through and him look at it and like, I'm not Triple X anymore. Shut up.
That was my
Like
twin
just
brother.
Dom look over and like, that
Yeah,
wasn't me, man.
Honestly,
Another
if you brought the Fast and Furious guys into the MCU, they would fit right in.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, they straight up had they'd be car super
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, their powers are car
superheroes.
based. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it would be some Kickers Inc. Like
And we could finally see Big Wheel on the big screen. We all want that. All right, let's talk about, before we get into what could obviously be a complete different Patreon. Let's talk about Bupkis, which is Peacock's new Pete Davidson Curb Your Enthusiasm type thing.
yeah.
Les, we were trying to figure out what we're going to watch this week, and having Mrs. Davis anywhere on the official schedule made Nick angry.
Oh, so bad.
And Les rightfully suggested, hey, maybe we should take White House Plumbers and give it a little more time. Which I was like, okay, I'm really loving it, wanted to talk about it, but yes, that makes sense. And we were all like, well, Citadel is at best a side dish. It's a solid
Yeah.
solid pile of mashed potatoes,
Yeah,
but
like,
it's
I
a
really
side
don't-
dish.
When you were saying like I've seen you watch worse stuff and not get as mad at like Citadel's fine. I don't really have that much to say about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Citadel's fine.
Which is not a knock against it. Like I'm really
No.
liking it, but also
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
It's
we'll,
better than True
we'll talk about
Lies.
but Les was like, we should watch he watched a couple of Bupkis, and I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm not excited about this.
I honestly, I was like, give it 2, and with every chance that you were going to get to the end of 2 and go, okay, that's as funny as Jim Jeffries' show or
Yeah.
any number of gross out sitcoms,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
not my thing. Dave, whatever. Or it's going to really grab you. I was shocked how sweet the second episode was.
Yeah.
and yet how gross and funny the first episode was.
Okay, so I was in early on in episode 1, which spoilers for Bupkis. So I guess we should let's start with premise, and then we'll get to it. So the premise is Pete Davidson
Pete
is a
Davidson.
mess. Pete Davidson, he's a mess. He's living in his home with his
I just thought
mom.
that was the whole premise, just Pete
Davidson.
Davidson.
Pete Davidson is Pete Davidson, and he's had some drug problems, and he's had a wild life. He's dated supermodels,
He's
and
got
he
some
is
kind of
now
butthole eye disease going on.
living in the basement of his childhood home with his mom, played by Edie Falco, and his grandpa, played by
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. And this started off, and I was texting you guys, and the first time we see Pete Davidson, he is jerking off to porn using his Oculus.
Yep.
And his mom comes down with his laundry just in time for him to jizz on her shirt.
Yep.
Yes.
And that is how I was introduced to Bupkis. That's how we're all introduced to Bupkis.
It is a beautiful story in 3 texts, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Randy texts, so I'm a few minutes into Bupkis, and my initial thoughts are that Edie Falco deserves better, but Joe Pesci's great in this.
Yes, yeah.
And then,
and then
a couple of minutes later, okay, I was wrong. This is sick and pretty funny. And then a little bit later, God damn it, okay, this show's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, and do you know where that third text comes? That third text comes after I watched episode 4.
Oh,
is that the crispy episode?
That, sir, is the Fast and Furious episode.
Yes. When they just them telling him where, like, oh no, I can make it to the party. I can do this. I'm not that bad. It's in Florida, and his mom going, fuck.
Yeah. Yep.
Like what? What's so? Florida is everything that's the worst about you in a state.
When they started playing the song at the end of the Fast and Furious episode, that is that maudlin Fast and Furious song, "Been a Long Road" or whatever that song is.
Yeah.
I was dying laughing. Crispy's one of the best characters ever. Yes, Crispy with the 2 golden guns and the rocket launcher, and just like it's ridiculous. This show is ridiculous.
Them in it realizing it like it's one of those weird Atlanta invisible car kind of moments. Like when when all his friends in his gang are like, so wait, are we really doing this? Are we all getting in cars? Are you just throwing me keys to a car? And then later on in the chase, as they're all talking to each other, and like Gilly or one of them's like, how are we hearing each other? How are we talking? I cracked up.
So Joe Pesci is killer in this.
And Brad Garrett is really great as his weird friend Roy.
Oh, wow.
So here's a funny thing. Later on, I started thinking about this. Ray Romano shows up.
Yes.
Well, he shows up twice. He shows up twice as hallucination, and then one time as himself. But Everybody Loves Raymond exists in this show, and in fact, you can buy it. You can buy it every episode individually instead of as a single pass. If you have
as long as you're on Sebastian Stan's account,
as long as you're on Sebastian Stan's Hulu account, he will come and punch you for it.
You're psychotic.
But in that show, I'm not wrong. Brad Garrett plays a character, right?
Yes, he's Raymond's brother.
Yeah, he's a major character.
Brad Garrett is another person in his life.
Yep.
And he's not Brad Garrett.
Just like some actors exist, but yet Steve Buscemi is a priest and Chris O'Donnell is his agent, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but also John Mulaney is just John Mulaney. And Sebastian Stan is like an NPH version of Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan, that little cameo was great. Ray Romano kills it in this too. Like, so we have seen people try to do Curb Your Enthusiasm before. I don't know if y'all remember. Hopefully you don't. With any luck, you don't remember Paul Reiser's show where he tried to do Curb Your Enthusiasm. Wow, was that rough? This, I was worried nobody else could really pull this off. And this is like, it's some weird mix of Curb and Atlanta and Dave. Like it's got bits of all of that.
That Christmas episode was weirdly sad.
Dave.
Yeah.
I was reminded of Dave, but only like, but this is if I'd like Dave. Like,
yeah. I was really worried that where it reminded me of Dave would turn Nick off.
Well, I think it was because Pete Davidson, I think this show actually does like, it makes me think Pete Davidson is much more of a self-reflective person than I like, because the character is making a bunch of mistakes here, but he himself must be self-reflective of writing this because he's in the writing process of this.
Every one of the episodes seems to show you, seems to get something about why Pete's Pete in a quiet little way that makes you realize that the guy who wrote this show can't be the same
Can't be the
this
same
has
guy
to
on
be
screen.
looking back already. Like that can't be Pete today.
Yeah.
Because
Like the guy on screen
episode
wouldn't make a show
knows
like
more
this.
about it. Yeah. Like him like realizing it when he's so mad at the troll who's Charlie Day as his therapist is fucking great in that episode. But he's so mad at the troll that keeps replacing the photo of him with his terrible squint eye.
Man,
all his photos look like that. And
that
B,
reveal, by the way, that reveal of who was this troll, I was dying.
So I've got to have a college degree to get you people. But the reveal at the very end when it cuts back to the childhood flashback and like, oh, his dad, one of the last things his dad probably said to him the last year his dad was alive. Hey, Pete, let's take this photo with your sister. Hey, stop squinting your eyes. You look better with your eyes open.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Shit, that's why this bothers you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
by the way,
much.
I gather, I haven't looked too deep into it, but I gather that Pete Holmes, that his dad actually did die.
His dad was a
9/11?
firefighter and died in 9/11.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's like, holy shit. That's crazy.
That's heavy stuff. That's like
Bobby Cannavale is his uncle, and like, oh man, do as I say, not as I do. That whole wedding thing.
Les, you were telling me about one of the funniest things I've ever heard, which was I haven't seen it, but the episode where he thinks he wants a kid, and
oh god,
the kid calls him out in the middle of in a public venue of like, I know you hate black people. I know you haven't you lie about seeing Wakanda Forever. No, I've seen
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Dude, did you say it with a hard R? Wakanda.
I don't know how I'd never heard anybody make that joke before. Now
that's a brilliant joke.
That's
that
so
is
funny.
A brilliant joke. Whoever wrote that deserves a bonus. But then, like, I was legitimately invested in the story of him and his girlfriend and not girlfriend. Like, I'm pulling for them. I really like.
She's from Generation, which I would recommend everybody see if HBO hadn't destroyed it and made it unwatchably.
Yeah, that shit's
hard
not
to obtain.
That shit doesn't exist anymore.
I also I love that as we go on. I as I said early on, I'm like, oh, Edie Falco deserves better than this. I'm like, no, she gets to really play this. She gets to play the mom who is way too invested in her son thing, which is hilarious. The whole thing about surrogacy, where she offers to carry the baby and then suggests to the sister that she carry the baby.
No, when she sits at the lunch with his ex, and breaks up that woman's relationship by offering her boyfriend.
She kept upping the number. She's like,
and the number keeps going up. Like it starts at $5,000.
What would we leave you for $10,000? I mean, you don't want to be with someone who's going to leave you for $15,000. What's he going to do? Just leave you for $25,000? That's just you don't want that.
She hangs up the phone. Like, well, I mean, at least now you know. I mean, you know if you're not even worth $50,000 to the guy, and like,
oh god, the way that got me one of the biggest laughs of the whole show. That bit, the way she just keeps underplaying it,
and like the girlfriend, like it starts out from her being excited to see Pete's mom and really thinking and like being flattered and everything, and it ends with like, you are evil and sick,
a monster.
That reminds me of fucking Girls 5 Ever, it's my 5 to 7 businesses. Oh yeah, I have like 9 to 10 businesses. Like,
you're jeopardizing my 6 to 13 businesses.
The structure. That's the other thing. That's one of the reasons this works. I don't know who else writing. I know Judah Miller from 30 Rock is involved in this, but the writing on this, the jokes are so sharp.
Yeah,
like it is not just that it's ridiculous. It is so sharp and funny.
End of the first episode, like the whole show has been building up to this joke, this ender, and where they cut to credits is fucking perfect. It makes he just open like, oh, stop, I don't want to talk about this. Don't you don't want it, your family doesn't want to talk about stuff. And then immediately he says all the stuff that happened in the episode, and it's like, yeah, that's why we don't talk about stuff. Credits.
Yeah. But also, there's a nice callback to the hooker because she shows up at the funeral in, I think, episode 5, which is one of the meaner things anyone's ever done, because they open it up and you think it's Pesci's funeral. I think we're in for a serious thing.
Oh God, I really thought I was like, you fucking assholes.
And then when you find out it's not, and Pete shows up the way Pete shows up, it becomes so cringy and funny.
Oh man,
it's a delight.
He goes to in that same episode when he goes to rehab and they're all immediately like, well, I mean, but you are going to be at your graduation next Friday, right? And like, that's not how. You can't simultaneously be telling me I'm only going to be there like a week because I'm going to fuck this up, and also need me to be at a thing next Friday. So You were thinking of Judah Freelander, I'm almost certain.
Judah Freelander. What I said, Judah
This
Miller.
is
Judah Freelander. Yeah.
yeah, this is Judah Miller who wrote on Crashing, the
So it's not who I was
Pete
thinking
Holmes.
of. Okay.
Yeah. He also he developed Axe Cop for television. Wrote on King of the
that
Hill.
makes so much sense. I really like Crashing, and I could see its DNA in this.
Yeah.
I could totally
wrote on
see this
Tracy
being...
Morgan's show back in the day. Wrote on Clone High. Staff writer on Clone High.
Okay. So yeah,
I thought early career staff writer on Clone High.
This had the manic energy of Judah Friedlander, which is kind of what I thought it was. But no, you're right. Judah Miller, different guy. But yeah, I can see that now. Crashing is a show I think has this energy too. Yeah, this was great. I will absolutely, and it's got a hell of an ending. Like,
Oh my
you
God.
guys gonna... Oh, and this is the other thing I want to draw a comparison to, and I'm reluctant to because now it's all tainted, but it reminds me of when Louis was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Remember how Louis could go from like funny to surreal to sublime and just really do all that?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of does all of that.
Yeah, like I could see Bupkis doing something like the Doug Stanhope suicide episode.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's funnier than it has any right to be. It's got some really poignant moments, and this is going to be higher on my favorites list of the year than I expected, because I expected to like watch 1 or 2 episodes of this and give up on it. And instead I was like, oh, I burned through it in 2 days. I thought it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I burned straight through this basically.
Yeah. All right, let's have our side dish, which is going to be a little less enthusiastic. Let's talk about Citadel.
I know. Well, again, it's Amazon.
Fine.
So like it can only be... God, I wish everything was Miss Maisel's.
Prestige good.
But it's just not. Like
Yeah.
And this is the Russo brothers produced this. They didn't direct this.
But they're like
no. This is Brian O, who everybody's going to obviously know from Happy Town as a writer.
Right, everybody knows
Josh
Happy Town,
Applebaum.
Sure. Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But they show them at the end of it, like they're talking about it, like, so they seem like they're heavily involved in the production.
Yeah, they've been doing a bunch of interviews and press. I think it's already got a season 2, and they've already talked about how they're planning to incorporate like feedback.
They're at least using their cachet to get it. Like it seems like they want the project to succeed, because they're really using their names to get it done.
Yeah. Well, they're doing the every episode ends with an interview with the two of them talking about it as if this is like their baby.
Yeah.
They're more engaged with this than they are, say, The Gray Man, I think, which they directed.
Well, this movie, like
those two dudes, the same way that Lindelof loves religion versus science a lot more than me, those two dudes love spy movies.
I was just gonna say that
more.
Yeah,
more than anybody else. They're the guys who really have watched every Bond movie and loved them.
Yeah, don't you feel like this is? I mean, this is not dissimilar to Alias.
No.
That it's. No, I mean, it's basically
it makes enough good decisions to not to be better than True Lies. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. True Lies already canceled, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Free Nikki for
free all those people up.
Yeah. Free all those people. But you know, having a super secret organization that starts out destroyed, like, oh, okay, you're gonna set up
opening on Shield getting destroyed.
Yeah, basically. Open on Shield getting that's neat. And then the Jason Bourne of it, like, oh, you're gonna lose memories, but having it not be the accident, it's a built-in backstop.
That backstop program is so cool.
Yes.
The thing where you can inject your memories back into yourself is a really cool idea. There's some cool ideas in this.
And I mean, the show's just swimming in Tooch.
And the way Pesci is working for, like, the way Pesci rules Bupkis, Tucci is ruling this. Like,
yep. Well, they give Tucci the coolest scenes. The bit where he executes people, as he's trying to, like, he just starts shooting people when he's like, "Yep, I don't need any more." Bang.
No, they're playing secret admirer. Like, does your secret someone have? Fuck you.
That's really great.
Blam.
I thought the hole in the center of the show was going to be Richard Madden, because Richard Madison's a charisma vacuum. He just is.
He's not.
He's fine.
No, he's fine. Priyanka Chopra is.
Yeah.
Thank God she's
great.
Here.
Nadia's great.
She elevates the whole thing.
She's helping him through all this, like, all the scenes. It's not like he's a liability, but she does have to, like, pick him up to, like, to get and
Yeah, the two of them, that's the secret sauce. When the two of them are working together, I'm like, oh, I kind of like Richard Madden because he's with her.
Yeah, and
And
him being still lost, him not getting the memory back, and like
yeah,
them calling back to the knife throw, they got to have their cake and eat it too with Tucci
Yes.
doing the knife throw,
Yep.
and he
Why
catches
would you
it.
throw that at me?
And then she does
Yeah.
it, does it to her like you, and she doesn't catch it. Like what?
Yeah.
But
he's like, well, I thought you'd catch it, and I'd be able to say like cool guy like,
Like, how'd you do
see,
that?
That's how you don't do that.
But now this has really undermined my whole point here. Like, and,
Yeah.
I like that the villain spies all seem to remember them, and it's personal. Of like, no,
yeah, they hate
fuck
them.
that
Yeah.
guy.
Also, I think the action sequences are really well done.
Yeah.
they
that
hurt.
train fight in the opening is a solid action
is
sequence.
The
really
Russo
good.
brothers, they know how to direct an action sequence. What the stakes of
Did
it
they
are.
direct? Did they direct
I don't
the
know
first
if they
episode?
directed these.
Because it felt
but-
like
But
theirs.
it felt like that one felt like their
No,
guiding
yeah.
hand. That one, and then there's the fight in the kitchen with one of the twins, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, this feels very Winter Soldier all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
a great way. But for every good
Yeah.
decision, there's a not bad, but like, really, do we have to have the thing they're chasing is you can get the nuclear codes or whatever?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And I was like, well, hopefully, maybe they're gonna do a twist on that because I feel like, I mean, it's not a knock list. I guess you should be happy. It's just not a list of
It's
all the agents or whatever.
but it basically is.
But it basically is. It's just a MacGuffin,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
and then there's the Tucci gets like captured pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Watching Tucci get interrogated and not give a fuck is great.
yeah, and so yeah, I like it. There's not.
Yeah.
If I don't know how, like, I probably won't watch it consistently, but I will finish it at some point probably.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get in the
that's where I'm
mood
at.
of like, oh, I kind of want to watch like a spy thing.
I enjoy it's getting really rough reviews. I think part of that is because the story of it is that like Amazon producers came up with it. It wasn't writers. It was like business guys were like, "Hey, we need a really big expensive spy show."
Oh,
And then they brought in these people to do it. And I understand why creative people would bristle at that, especially right now.
yes.
But if you set aside its origins and look at the people doing it and look at the actual finished product, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is fine. It's enjoyable. If it was canceled tomorrow, I wouldn't care, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, obviously Amazon, like, hey, we got a fucking spy show. Does anyone? And then suddenly, how the Russo brothers are just in the room already. Like,
And somehow, yeah, and Nemec and Applebaum are like, did you say spy show?
did you spy?
You guys want to do Alias
They're
again?
People are just
So
wanting.
it looks like that first episode was directed by Newton Thomas Seigel, who is the cinematographer for Drive. Has done a bunch of shit as a cinematographer. I think it's one of the first things he's directed, or not first thing, but definitely
Early
the biggest
thing, yeah.
profile
Okay.
thing I've seen that he's directed.
Yeah, it's solid. Like
Those action scenes really are solid. He definitely.
I legitimately thought it was the Russos.
If
Well, like Randy, you remember back in the days of Image first breaking off, and like everybody had their house, and
yeah,
and like there were like Liefeld had like 4 dudes that
who could draw just like him or better than him. Yeah.
Who could like everybody had like somebody who could outdo the head honcho in the studio, and
Yes.
I feel like this dude knows that I'm on a Russo brother production, and it better look Russo as fuck.
I also bet that
Yeah.
the Russo brothers brought on their own stunt crew probably for
The guys who've worked
and
with him,
stunt
that kind of
coordinators
thing,
and shit like that. I
Yeah.
bet you they work with those.
Because the blocking and everything's fucking great. It just
Yeah.
all looks so good. You really
y'all
feel
watch
the
the-
hits.
Did y'all watch the third episode? You
No, we
Not
stopped
yet.
at 2.
okay? Because the third episode has Tucci being captured and being interrogated, and it's great, and also has a very Bondian snow chase with like vehicles chasing him and parachutes and a fighter jet, and it's another big, cool, expansive action sequence. So
It really is. It's halfway, but I know they made Ghosted. When Chris,
which I heard was terrible.
but that's like the funny version, and Gray Man is supposed to be kind of
Yeah.
the serious version. I feel like this is
Yeah.
Citadel seems to be the happy medium for me of like, Tucci is funny enough of like, don't trust me, I'm a spy. Like, kind of taking the like.
I gassed your whole family in a van. Why would you trust me?
So it's meta enough to like know like some of the tropes and stuff to like get away with that and be fun still, but have the spy slickness to it. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump over and have our dessert. Let us talk about Ted Lasso, which I guess we've got a couple episodes to talk about here.
Yes.
let's. And I just finished watching this week, so that's fresh in my mind. But I'm gonna pull us back. Y'all have talked about an episode that I did not get to talk about with you.
Sure.
But we got so last week was episode 8.
That was the leak episode. Keeley's leak.
Keeley's leak, and also more of the Nate Redemption tour.
Yes.
Yep.
And also
Sons
more
of
of the
bitches.
I hate Dr. Jacob and wanted to get hit by a bus.
Man, fuck
tour.
Oh,
him.
at this point, I hate Ted's
Fuck
ex.
Dude, like I think
I'm mad at her.
Ted's ex. I swear to God, if we find out that he did propose and she didn't tell him, then we already seen that she's bad at communicating. But
here's what I think, and we were talking about this today when we talked about the latest episode. I think the ending for Ted is that he and Michelle get to a point where if they're not back together, they're co-parenting again.
Yeah.
Dr. Jacob is out of the picture, and he gets to move back home and basically be with his wife and his son, even if he's not married to her. I bet, and I don't know for sure, I think it's possible Jacob did propose to her, and she said no, and realized this guy has some serious boundary issues. Because they were when he's getting in the taxi, there's some weird tension there.
There is a weird.
There's
tension.
there's definitely some weird tension, and I think.
So you think?
I think because they love to not show us stuff and then reveal it later. And I have this feeling that they were
right.
They were
when Ted's looking out the window. That's a weird moment,
dude. That's a Lasso. Also, that's a Lasso move of everyone telling him that the proposal wasn't going to happen, and then it would, but then it also doesn't. Like,
yeah, I think it's possible that she realized, oh shit, this guy has boundary problems, and she's like, and we're not at marriage place, and they broke up.
No,
and I think they were broken up when they got in that cab.
Randy, I think you're selling me on this. I think that might be what happened.
Yeah, and I think that because we know we've only got 3 episodes left.
Yeah,
and I think the happy ending for Ted is he's got to go back to Kansas and be with his boy. There's no way they can have him stay in England.
No, he's already wondering why he's still here.
Yeah, and we've also seen in the latest episode that Roy is stepping up. So
yeah,
but the cool thing, the previous, in addition to the Michelle Jacob stuff, and by the way, every time I saw that, I was so pissed at Dr. Jacob and I was pissed at Michelle, and I was just like, how do you not realize what you're doing?
All my Nate hate is going towards Dr. What's his face.
Yeah, but I loved the stuff with Beard and Henry and Hey Jude and the Beatles
the Hey
and all
Jude
that kind of
song.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Beard relating, the Beard doing the way Beard talks. He doesn't directly tell Henry. He's like, hey, I'm always there for you. Your dad is my best friend. He's basically, he tells him, that by relating the story of Jude.
Yeah.
And then the bit that gutted me was when he's like, you like the Beatles, huh? And he's like, yeah, because my dad does. I was like, oh, fuck.
Also, there's something beautiful about, so Hey Jude is a song written for Julian Lennon by not John Lennon, but Paul.
Yeah.
Paul,
by Paul,
and that's a lesson given to Henry, not by Ted, but by Beard.
By Beard, yeah.
Which I thought was also fitting.
Yep.
Yeah. And Randy, I know you didn't get to talk about the Amsterdam episode. That was the one you were missing from, right?
No, did I? No, I talked about that. It was the Jade and Nate episode I didn't get to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That story that's an arc that's been these last 2 episodes.
Short for Jaded. Actually,
let's talk about Jade and Nate because God damn it, they did it. I don't know how I feel for Nate.
They put the work in.
So here's the thing.
Doesn't spit on himself.
Yes, that was huge.
It was a huge moment.
That was huge,
and I felt it. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
You got me because I just realized that I do care about him getting better.
Yeah.
And that is a positive move. Fuck.
And the thing is, the really, I've always related a little bit to Nate, and I didn't like when he did the bad turn because, man, I relate to that guy, and the whole thing of his whole thing of how do you tell if a girl likes you or
you can't,
you can't, and that is 100% true that you can't. The only way to do it is to ask her, and that can suck. And I love that they did all that. Nate, as much as he's got a big job and he's rich, he's still Nate. He's still the guy who's never had luck with women. And so the idea of asking this woman that he likes out fucking terrifies him. And that he faces it with courage, and he does it in a very Nate way by making that box. We're like, oh, we're starting to see Nate creep back in. And also, Nate, the confident Nate, the shitbag Nate, is, to some extent, it's Keeley and Rebecca's fault because they gave him confidence in a way that he didn't need to get. He needed confidence.
Yeah.
But he wasn't ready for the way they gave him confidence.
I hate to blame them for it, but
they were trying to do a good thing.
Yeah, but he was in the wrong spot. They didn't realize how bad the problem was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I there's this is how good the writing is on this show. Like them selling me that Jade and Nate get together, because Jade definitely came across as thinking he was at best nothing and at worst a douchebag.
Yes.
Right.
And for him to win her
But
over
every once in a
means that
while,
she
because whenever the little Nate shines through, she
Mhm.
laughs.
Yeah, she likes Nate.
Yes.
She likes the
Mhm,
real
mhm.
Nate, not the fake ass Nate he's trying to show her.
And we're
And
seeing him
that's
catch on to that.
And
Yeah.
because she
and
likes
that's what
Nate,
works.
we do
Yep.
as an audience.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And the other thing, this paid off in this episode. When Rupert shows up, I was like, oh shit, please don't let Rupert do this. Like I was
Yeah.
worried Rupert was gonna go right for her, and he does. But you see in that moment, she sees Rupert the same way that Ted
Yes.
and Rebecca see. She sees him. She sees right
it
through
was
it.
worthwhile to meet you.
You're advantageous to meet.
It was worthwhile meeting you. Was fucking great.
That is such
Yes.
a weird, like, you'd have to pause, like, that's you. It feels like you're going way out of your way to say not like that was
They
not.
do
good
have
Not
both
say
being
nice.
human in common.
Yeah.
It very much felt like,
Yeah,
wow, that.
yeah.
And oh my god, I don't know why I had to rewind the line. The joke was so quick and dense.
Oh.
Jade cracks me up. She is so
Yeah,
fucking
Jade's great.
funny.
Jade's great. Yeah.
It's actually short for Jaded. My mom named me
Jade.
after my aunt, but I don't care.
Yeah,
Don't
my mom
care.
named me after her least favorite aunt.
The
But I
fact
don't
that
care.
that Nate and Rupert didn't just stop and laugh or just applaud that joke, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
y'all don't know
I'm sorry.
comedy.
Like that was
fucking amazing.
masterful.
Yeah. Yeah. She's great. They've done a great job making her more than just the sort of like waitress who kind of ignored him. Like they've given
Yeah.
her a character very quickly.
But I was
And
deeply
the-
afraid that Rupert was either going to hit on her,
Yeah.
Which he kind of does.
or
He
which he
did,
kind of
but
does,
he's
but she
looking
just
for,
doesn't
he's
go
looking
at
for
it.
wife number 3. We know that.
But I was
Yeah.
afraid his next move was going to be to take Nate out for a drink and spend the whole well, it's what he was going to do. Spend
Yeah.
the whole evening breaking up him and Jade.
Yeah, and he tried.
oh,
yeah.
man,
And
Nate.
I was so happy when Nate goes for the hug. It goes to her
Yep.
place and take.
Well,
Oh my
Nate
god!
he doesn't have to wait through the whole night. He just recognizes right off the bat what's happening and is like,
Yep.
nah,
I can just
Nah,
go
man.
to the person I want to be with.
yeah. Oh god, I
The
was so
other
happy
big-
for him.
The other big arc, which started in Amsterdam and resolves here in a lot of ways, is Colin.
Colin,
Mm-hmm.
they really paid
And
that off.
They did a great. So when Isaac found out, and the way he was treating this episode, I was watching with my group of people, and we were all like, "No, Isaac, please let this be that he's mad at him
Les-
about a secret
Les
that
was
he's
the
not."
same way, and I had to reassure him. I'm like, no, Les. Remember,
They won't do that.
Isaac is sensitive. What he's mad about
Yeah,
is the fact that
Yeah.
that Colin didn't trust him.
Yeah. and
Yes.
then when he gets mad and goes in the stands, and it's because he's like, "What if one of us was gay?" I was like, "Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good here. He's
Mhm,
not
mhm.
mad at him for being gay."
And you
He
see
is
Colin
mad-
hear it and like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Colin hears
Yeah.
it, and it's
Yeah,
just
Isaac's
he
new
does.
to it.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
But
Isaac's
it
new
caught-
to it.
Yep.
and
like Roy said, like you got to remember these are people, and sometimes you're gonna catch somebody on the wrong on the
wrong
wrong
fucking
day.
day, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, Roy's story arc continues to be his whole thing of like just not going to the press conference, and that he thought he'd get away with it. First of all, I
Yeah.
love him he tries to stand down Rebecca and Keeley, and they just stare at him until he agrees
Yes.
to it.
Yeah, fuck no. I mean,
I'd love to.
I guess
I
so.
mean, I'd love to.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love like you work them down to like he's
Yep,
happy
yep.
about him.
And I love that Rebecca turns yelling at him at the press conference into really yelling at him about Keeley.
Oh sure.
Mhm.
What
That,
do you
like, she's
want,
like-
Roy?
She's like, you left my best friend for no reason. You fucked up a perfectly good thing for no reason.
No
It's
reason.
Your own
Yeah.
lack of self-confidence. And also the stuff they did with Jack, I have some friends who are a little upset about it because it is like we got one lesbian relationship and it turns out she's a piece of shit, but that does happen, you know.
No, I mean lesbians can be
Well,
bad people too.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't even as simple as piece of shit. Like I feel like they pretty deftly handled like how Jack surprises me on a couple occasions
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we're like, oh man, I really thought it was gonna implode. Jack was pretty great right there. Oh man.
Yeah.
And then nope, that's a bridge too far. You are still
Yeah.
at some point you gotta
The
protect the
minute
money
she
more than
says, "Well, maybe
Yeah.
don't make the video in the first place," I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
Jack,
Oh,
this
that's
is
it. Yeah.
this is done."
You're not as cool as you want to seem.
And by the way, they didn't protect Roy fully because Roy asked her a thing he shouldn't have asked.
Yes,
Mhm,
When
mhm.
when Roy comes
And
to her and is like, "Who'd you make it for?" and he immediately
Roy
he immediately realized
Immediately
he
like,
fucked up.
fuck,
Yeah.
nope, can't ask that shit.
But it doesn't matter because he's already asked it at a time. She's
Yep.
not willing to be.
And Jamie,
Jamie's
And
the
so-
one that handles it right.
Well,
Jamie
Jamie's-
gets it. Yeah.
he's the one that has to apologize. It was It's my fault. I forgot the emails. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is your
Yeah.
password? Yeah.
God damn it, Jamie.
Yeah.
He's too dumb to
And
stay
also,
mad at.
that gave them a whole reason to do the entire locker room about deleting nudes and like a whole storyline in a major sitcom about what you do with nudes after you've broken up with
Dude,
your partner.
Sam's
Crazy.
strategy of like, oh, anytime I break up with someone, I let the woman go through my phone and delete whatever she wants. And I'm like, damn, that's a good standing like
Yeah. And
standard that I
fits
think
Sam.
that I would not have thought of.
It fits Sam and it fits Jamie that he's
One of
like
them deleted Candy Crush.
Which was harsh,
it's
but I understood.
it's also fitting that Danny is like, but that would take weeks.
That would take weeks.
I'm a footballer.
Because
that would take
they're
weeks.
both footballers. They have like they just
yeah.
And Jamie's like, delete it. No, delete it, bruv. All of it. It's like, it sounds like Jamie knows, like, which is surprising when he gets caught on the email thing later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Isaac, just when you think Colin is gonna let Isaac take the heat for the gay thing, he takes the opportunity, and
I was so scared he wasn't gonna do it.
And and of course he has the game of his life, and it's so God damn it! You can see the point.
What do we're a man down. What do we change? Nothing.
It's one of those things of how can you not love sports movies? They fucking they come back from being a man down and a goal down to winning because one of them is true to himself. Come on. That's just fucking how do you not love this?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because the narrative I am seeing, and I just see it, I don't read the articles because fuck those guys, but I'm seeing all these headlines about people like, what happened to Ted Lasso? It's such a mess now.
Yeah.
And I have friends. Grant is doing it. Grant is out there talking about how bad it is. And I'm like, what show are you watching?
If I had to guess a theory on it, Ted Lasso came about pandemic time, and we needed a moment to feel happy. To feel happy about stuff. And now that Trump is gone for a minute, the pandemic has receded. It's not quite like fucking done. Like it'll never be done, but now I think everyone is back to being sad is prestige television again, which is why I think Apple is doing this sad thing. Yeah. And so, and it's like Les said, it's the third season. It's time for us to turn and make the stories. Is Ted Lasso losing its touch?
Yeah, that thing that we loved last year. But is it bad?
But is it actually terrible? And the one I saw was that Keely's leak episode is about everyone but Keely.
I saw that too, and I'm like, I was like, it's absolutely about Keely.
No, it's about.
It didn't feel like that to me.
It's about Keely in the way that how she feels about it and how everyone else reacts to it and is considerate of her feelings. That's like saying Ted's divorce is about everyone but Ted because only everyone else gets mad about it. Like stories tell stories and how other characters feel by seeing how other characters bounce off them. That's storytelling.
We see how everybody else gets mad about it, but not in the way that Keely's mad about it.
Yeah.
And Keely's journey is that no, she's never sorry about doing like no, I didn't do anything wrong. Fuck you.
Right. Yeah. And Ted Lasso is great at this. Like when you see the story about Roy's press conference, that it's about Coach Beard getting into a screaming match with a bunch of journalists about who is the best classic rock guitarist.
New Trent.
Because if you were to make that episode,
I like you better than old Trent.
What did they want? Did they want the episode about Keely learning something? Because the only thing she could learn would be to not record that, and that's not the right message.
She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. She doesn't have to learn shit.
Yeah.
No, you have a right to privacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they wanted to see an episode where Keely just like went through a dark night of the soul about things, and like, that's
did you want
what it's
a Beard
about.
episode that was just Keely doing stuff on her own, or like?
Yeah.
She's gonna.
And nobody like. People got mad about that Beard episode. Like, you don't want to think it's focused on one character. You get mad when
she doesn't have anything to fucking learn.
No, you want to see her run to Rebecca and get support, and for people to like her old flames to come around and try and comfort her. And Roy fucks it up, and Jamie nails it. And
I will say the one thing I wish they had mentioned is in one of the early episodes, Keely and Rebecca talk about Rebecca has a topless shot of her on a yacht.
Yes.
And it was taken by a paparazzi. And I wish that had called back. I wish she had said something about that. Like, so remember, she's like, do you remember the early on when you first met me, you wanted to see that picture and I kind of wanted to show it to you. Remember that, we did put this out there, and it does suck to have it. I've had that done to me. but you can take it back and have your own power. Like there could have been something with that because the way that they interact with that the previous time, and I wish they had called it back a little bit.
They could have called back to.
Yeah. But, the episodes are like an hour long now, so I understand there's some things just aren't going to make the cut.
I have seen people complain about, like, Ted Lasso should stick to its 30-minute format, and that's fucking it up. I don't feel the pacing change.
No,
I just feel like I got 2 episodes each week.
Yeah. And if Les doesn't feel the pacing change, no one should feel the pacing change.
No one feel yeah.
Because Les is aware of pacing.
I'm really looking out for it.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Les knows if something is too long, I promise. He has a spider sense that goes off.
What is this?
It's
Anyway, great episodes. I'm sad and elated that we have 3 episodes left. I love a good ending. I love when things end well, and I think Ted Lasso is going to stick the landing.
Yeah.
Is this it, or is there one more?
There's 3 episodes left.
No, I mean, is there another season?
Oh, no, they're saying this is the final season.
This is it.
Sudeikis had at least said he was done.
Okay.
And if he's done, we were talking about this after we with the people I was watching the show with. We were saying, they could, if Sudeikis is done, but Lawrence and those guys want to continue, and Brett Goldstein want to continue, you could do a spin-off called Richmond.
Sure.
Where Beard and Lasso go back to America, and it's about these characters. It would be different. It's a different show.
Yeah.
Like the Fish Out of Water is so baked into it, it's got to be a different show. But these characters are all good enough to.
But I would watch
any one of these characters
for sure.
I would watch a season of Richmond for sure. Like have what the effect.
I'm surprised we're not watching a season of Richmond right now.
Yeah, who's the Shorzy of Ted Lasso? Yeah. Is it a Danny Richmond? Is it a Danny Reyes show?
Yeah. Give me Football is Life.
Football is Life, tit fuckers.
Give me a fully animated Adventure Time style Danny Rojas show. Give me a weird Lynchian Coach Beard show where he goes he travels.
Who's the fittest person on the team? I'll never tell you, and you'll never guess.
Bumbercatch.
Yes.
Jan Moss telling truths. Let's do that spinoff.
Yes.
You could definitely do spinoffs of this show. A sitcom centered around Sam's new restaurant. They could do more with this. Absolutely. And I don't know if I hope they do, but I wouldn't be shocked if they decide to. But as is, Ted Lasso ends in 3 episodes, and I can't wait to see how they bring it in for a close. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for us this week. And thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Les.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, dudes.
And reminder, you can go to patreon.com/tvdudes, throw us that $1 an episode. Listen to us talk about this week Guardians of the Galaxy, previous week's everything from Nicolas Cage to Puppet Master, I think. And until next week,
TV Dudes out of sight.
I guess I got to go on the Muppets thing.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.